It was just a normal day when the kids were playing outside and they vanished suddenly. Their father, who is running out of time to bring them back, is in a battle with his morals and the law. You won't believe who the final kidnapper is. Stay, watch the end to find out. Welcome, we are going to recap Prisoners movie today. Keller Drover and his son Ralph are driving back from a hunt, and Keller explains to Ralph what his dad told him, the importance of being ready in times of disaster. They have a dead deer at the back of the truck. Later in the day, Keller gets ready to leave home with his wife Grace Drover and his daughter Anna to go to their neighbors for Thanksgiving. Arriving there, they are greeted by Nancy Birch and Franklin Birch. As everyone sets up for Thanksgiving dinner, Anna wants to go play outside with Joy, one of Franklin's daughters, and Keller says to convince Ralph to go with them, and they leave. Once outside, Anna and Joy start to mess with an RV van but are pulled away by Ralph and Eliza. There was music playing from inside the van. After dinner, the whole family is playing a game when Anna and Joy ask them if Anna can take Joy back to the Drovers' house. They are given permission to go with Ralph and Eliza, and they leave. After a while, Keller finds Eliza and Ralph and he asks where their sisters are, but they tell him they thought they were with them. Keller goes to his house to try and find them, but they aren't there. He goes back to the Birches, but nobody seems to know where they are. Ralph recalls the RV that they had passed earlier and takes Keller with him, but the truck wasn't there. Keller decides to call the police. Detective Loki is eating alone when he gets a call about the suspected RV. Soon, he finds the truck and goes to inspect it, but it suddenly pulls away and crashes just as quickly. Loki goes inside and finds a man named Alex Jones. He is taken out to locate the girls, but he won't answer. Loki sends out his men to search for the girls before he arrests Alex. Loki continues the interrogation, but Alex denies all his accusations. He only tells him that he parks his truck at his aunt's house. Later in the night, Loki checks out Alex's aunt, Ms. Holly's house. She tells him that Alex stays with her from time to time. Loki gets the report that Alex's truck is clear of any evidence, and he sends another police team back to Aunt Holly's house. Late at night, Kelly and Franklin go out searching for their daughters with many other people. The next day, Loki goes over to Birch's house before he goes to Drover's house. Grace says that Loki's captain said he had solved every case he had been working on. He asks if she thinks they might have run away, but she tells him they wouldn't. He tells her that he will find them, and is interrupted as Keller joins them. Loki informs Keller that no evidence has been discovered against Alex, and Keller begins to question how that could be possible. Loki assures him the police are considering all possibilities, and Keller asks if Alex will be kept in custody until the girls are found, but learns that Alex will be released soon unless formal charges are brought. At night, Loki goes to see Father Patrick and finds him unconscious. He begins to look around the house and finds a hidden basement. Inside, he finds some statues and a dead body tied to a chair. He wakes up Father Patrick and confronts him about the body. He tells him that it was a man who killed children, and he kept him there because he was about to kill more. The next day, Keller gets a call from Grace, letting him know Alex is being released. Alex is being questioned by reporters as Keller comes and attacks him asking for the girls. Alex whispers that the girls didn't cry until he left them, and Keller got dragged away in that moment. Keller wants Alex arrested again, but Captain Richard tells him to tell Loki what he heard. Richard tells him to go home and that they will ignore the attack. Loki goes to visit Alex and Holly, asking if he said anything to Keller, but they both deny. Loki asks to talk to Alex alone and asks if Alex wants Holly to go to jail if he isn't telling the truth. He calls Keller and tells him he is moving on from Alex as a suspect. Keller goes to comfort Grace, who asks Keller to make Anna come home, and he gives her some medicine to calm her down. He tells Ralph to protect Grace while he goes to help the police. He then goes to Holly's home and waits outside until it gets dark. He sees Alex taking his dog out for a walk, and he approaches him with a weapon. The next day, Keller takes Franklin to his old home where he is keeping Alex hostage. Franklin is shocked and says they should take Alex to the police, but Keller says they need to force him to talk, or their daughters will be gone forever. Keller yells for Alex to confess what he knows. Meanwhile, Loki is back at the station looking up missing children's cases. He then goes to talk to Mrs. Milland, who had her child abducted 26 years ago. She tells him she's sure it's the same person who abducted the girls. He then questions Father Patrick in the station about the man in the basement. In the evening, Keller is with Franklin still interrogating Alex, who is now badly injured. Alex refuses to talk, but Keller is sure he knows something and keeps beating him. Franklin attends a vigil for the missing girls and comforts his grieving family. Loki is nearby and notices a man placing a teddy bear amongst the candles. He follows him and soon takes off after him when the man starts to run. He chases the man to the house, but the man attacks him and he ends up losing him. The next day, Franklin sees the man on the news as a new suspect, but leaves to go with Keller to interrogate Alex again. Keller is sure that Alex and the man know each other. Loki informs Captain Richard that Alex never came back home from walking his dog. dog. He questions why Alex wasn't under surveillance and that he needs to know where everyone involved is. He then re-watches his interrogation of Alex to see if he can find any new information. He gets a call from a shopping mall and goes to see a witness about the man. She tells him that the man buys kids' clothes in different sizes. Meanwhile, Keller tells Franklin they are running out of time. Franklin returns home and Nancy asks him where he's been. He confesses about everything, and Nancy confronts Keller about kidnapping Alex. She demands to see Alex and they take her to him. Alex's face is covered in blood, and Nancy begs Alex to help her find her daughter. She unties him, but he attacks her and tries to escape. Keller then shows Franklin and Nancy his new way of getting information from Alex. Franklin tries to convince him to stop, but Keller simply gives him the hammer and leaves. Nancy and Franklin arrive home to find the man Loki chased, whose name is Bob, sneaking in on Eliza, but he escapes and goes to Keller's house. Grace wakes up at the noise assuming it's Anna, but Bob escapes again. Ralph goes to calm her down, and she explains to Loki what had happened. They go to check the basement, and Loki asks where Keller is, and Grace tells him that he's been searching with the police. The next day, Loki follows Keller to the abandoned house. Keller stops and goes to the store to buy liquor. He then goes to confront Loki before he gets in his car, and Loki tells him he knows that he hasn't been helping the police like he told Grace. He tells him that Alex is missing, and Keller claims he left town because he is guilty. Keller gets angry and demands Loki to find his daughter and tells him not to follow him. He gets home and goes to bed only to see Anna in his dream. Keller goes back to Alex and puts him through terrible pain to get him to talk, but Alex wouldn't say anything. Loki comes to the house, and Keller sees him through the window and positions himself on the floor as if he was asleep. Loki insists that Keller shows him around the house. Soon he gets a call from the shopping mall about Bob, and he goes to Bob's house after tracing his car's plate number. Bob opens the door for him, and Loki asks why Bran ran away from him, but Bob tells him he's never seen him before. Bob tries to slam the door, but Loki gets in and arrests him before he searches the house and calls for backup. He breaks into a room and finds a bunch of crates. He opens one and finds some dangerous snakes covered in bloody clothing. He opens all of them, and they all have snakes in them. In the last one, he finds a book full of mazes. He quickly takes it and leaves. Loki informs Keller they haven't found any bodies, but the Birches identify some of Joy's clothing that was found in the crates. Keller is alone, and he tells Loki that Grace won't be able to come. He recognizes one of Anna's socks covered in blood and begins to cry. He blames Loki for wasting time and not saving his daughter. Reporters are outside Keller's house, and he tells Ralph not to talk to them. Ralph tells him that Eliza told him that the girls are dead, but Keller warns him not to let Grace know. Ralph starts yelling that Keller has just been leaving the family on their own, and Keller storms off in a rage. Loki has been watching Bob go over the mazes that he found inside the crates. Bob is humming and crying when Loki enters the room and asks what Bob is drawing. When Bob won't answer him, he starts to attack him, and Bob gets hold of a gun and he shoots himself in front of them. At the abandoned house, Keller prays for forgiveness and confesses to Alex he doesn't know what to do anymore, but is sure that Alex still knows something. Alex says something about a maze, and Keller insists that he tell him. He then goes to see Holly and apologizes for attacking Alex the other day. He gets in and mentions dreaming about getting lost in a maze. She shows him the newspaper in which Bob's suicide is written. Loki is extremely frustrated and breaks down. He then finds a maze picture that is similar to the one Bob drew. He gets a call and goes to Bob's house to learn that most of the evidence is fake and the blood is only pig's blood. He's also told that he made the mazes himself. Loki insists there is a connection and questions how Bob got Anna and Joy's clothes. He drives off to Keller's house and finds one of Anna's socks on the ground. Grace gets a call and rushes out of the house to find Keller pulling up. She tells him Joy is found and is at the hospital. They rush to the hospital, and Keller tries to question Joy. She starts to recall the events that led up to her being found and says that Keller was present where they were taken. Keller storms off and Loki starts chasing him. He follows him to the abandoned house and hears Alex screaming in pain. Keller goes to Holly's house and offers to help fix things around the house. Once inside, he claims he knows the girls were at her home and that he doesn't want to hurt her. She then points a gun at him and holds him captive before making him drink a sedative. His phone starts to ring, but she orders him to dispose of it. She confesses to kidnapping multiple children with her husband, calling the kidnappings a war to make people turn into monsters like himself. Holly confesses that Alex never harmed Anna or Joy, but she's the one who decided to take them. She takes him to a hole in the ground and forces him to get inside. She says that she will reunite him with his daughter in the hole and seal it shut. Loki is told to notify Holly that the police have found Alex, and just as he arrives and knocks, Holly goes to where she hid Anna. Back in the hole, Keller struggles and finds Anna's whistle. Loki arrives just as Holly gives Anna an injection. She attacks him, but he defends himself and leaves her there while taking Anna. Loki is badly injured but makes it to the hospital with Anna just in time. As Loki recovers from his injuries, Grace comes to visit with Anna, Nancy, and Joy. She tells him that Keller hasn't contacted her and asks asks if Loki will find him. In the end, Loki is at Holly's house and watches as the excavators leave. Soon, he hears Keller's whistles down in the hole. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.